Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, we can hear you.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's
Good afternoon.
good afternoon. Hold on one second. All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is the State Court of Fulton County's Expedited Accusations calendar. I am Judge Regina Mincing, and this is the calendar for Friday, October the 7th. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's Office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. We're able to address matters including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'm going to begin and advise everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I'm going to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights, one being to have an attorney to represent you in this proceeding, and the second one being that you have a constitutional right to remain silent. Anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, and the occurrences in your case can and will be held against you. Prosecutors are here, they're listening. Listen to your attorneys and govern yourselves accordingly. All right, deputies, who do we have first?
Good afternoon. This is the sub-annex. Before you is position 14, Ms. White.
All right, thank you. This is case number 22 CR 006713C, Kimberly Nicole White. You're charged with one count of battery family violence. The offense date is October 6, 2022. Pretrial.
Third arrest, 2006 suspended license, and a 04 shoplifting.
All
That's it.
right. Ms. King, this is your case.
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This offense occurred on October 6th. Officers were dispatched to 3224 Verdant Drive Southwest in Atlanta due to a fight in progress. Upon arrival, they met with the victim of this case, Sanaya Buckman, Sanija Buckman, and she stated her mother, who was a defendant, was arguing with her and ultimately led to a physical altercation. She states her mother slapped her in the face, which led to a busted lip. The officers on scene did see this busted lip in the blood. We've been in contact with this victim, and she states that she doesn't want to move forward with charges and she wants her mother to come home. The state agrees with the coming back home. In fact, we're only requesting a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. And we're asking for no further violent contact, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons in a one-day anger awareness class. She states that she did not want her mother to get arrested, but wanted her to get out of her face and leave her alone. The state is not concerned with there being an ongoing issue here. We just think something got out of control. So a 5,000 signature bond through pretrial is more than reasonable.
Your Honor, we have no objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I will order the $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. I will order no further violent contact with the victim. Is it Sanja Buckman?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will also order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. I will order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that's it, because there is no stay away, correct?
Yes,
That's correct, Your Honor.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Judge. Whenever you're ready, in courtroom 2 is going to be Mr. Gore, position 5.
What? All right, this is case number 22 CR 006723J. Mr. Rodriguez Gore, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is October the 4th, 2022. Pre-trial.
6 total. Last was 2014, possession of cocaine, possession of a controlled substance. They were on dead docket. Obstruction, trespass conviction, 2011 out of Cobb. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana conviction, 2011. 2010 gambling dismissed. And the 09 marijuana obstruction dismissed. That's it.
All right. ASG Select.
Your Honor, good afternoon.
No.
On October 4th, 2022, Corporal Williams with the South Fulton Police Department was dispatched to 1475 Sand Bay Drive, where he met with Miss Nija Saxton, and that's Nija Saxton, Saxton. Ms. Saxton stated that she and the defendant were in a relationship and residing with each other at that 1475 Sand Bay address. Ms. Saxton stated that she was on the phone with her mother when the defendant began yelling at her and started getting very close to her face. Ms. Saxton stated that the defendant was so close that his spit flew on her lip as he was yelling at her. She attempted to block the defendant from getting in her face even further, and she put her hands up, and the defendant pushed her hands and began striking her with his fist and pulling her hair. This caused the victim to fall, and she hit the side of her body on the wooden part of the bed. Upon officer arrival, Ms. Saxton stated that she was having headaches and pain on her side. Corporal Williams did observe a laceration on the victim's side near her ribs. Although it doesn't appear that he has any prior violent arrest, this incident did just recently happen. And because of what we know about the cycle of violence, the state would argue that he poses a risk of reoffending due to the nature of the charges. The state's recommendation would be a $5,000 surety bond, no contact with Ms. Nija Saxton, stay away from the incident location, 1475 Sand Bay Drive, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state at this time.
All right. Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Rodriguez Gore is 32 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has family here, including 5 children, 2 of which he shares with the complaining witness, Ms. Nija Saxton. And the children that he shares with Ms. Saxton are ages 2 and 5, and his remaining children are ages 7, 10, and 13. Your Honor, Mr. Gore completed high school. He also has an associate's degree. He's an electrician. He is currently employed at McLean. He has been in this position for the past 2 years, and he strongly denies the allegations. Your Honor, I'm requesting a signature bond for Mr. Gore. He does not have any convictions for violence, and his other matters are remote, Your Honor. He informs me that he wants to continue having contact with Ms. Saxton. However, I was unable to reach her. Therefore, we will defer to the court's ruling. And further, Your Honor, Mr. Gore states that the incident location is actually his address. He states that she left. So in closing, I am requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he's ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000. And regarding the stay away, we are opposed. However, if Your Honor orders one, then we would ask for a one-time law enforcement escort so that Mr. Gore may return there to confirm that Ms. Saxton has vacated. And if Your Honor orders no contact, then we would ask for a third-party transfer so that he can continue to see his children. Thank you, Your Honor.
How many children again?
They share 2 children, Your Honor, ages 2 and 5.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $5,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order a stay away from 1475 Stan Bay Drive. I will order the one-time law enforcement escort to return to retrieve his personal items while he finds another place to stay. I'm going to order no further contact at this time with Nija Saxton. And if there's visitation granted with the children, that be conducted through a third-party transfer. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And oh, I'm sorry, the one-time anger awareness course through pretrial.
And Your Honor, if I just may clarify, may he remain at his residence if he returns there and finds that Ms. Saxton has vacated the premises?
Sometimes I will in certain circumstances, but with this one, I'm not sure. And I've not heard any evidence that we knew she was moving and she has 2 children. I'm not going to order that in this case. He just needs to stay away until there's been a bond modification.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, you're done. Position 13, Shelton. North. No,
Your Honor, this is a dual arrest with position 11. It has the same facts.
North. Hold on, sir, hold on.
Judge, you waiting on me?
No,
Okay.
the jail.
Okay.
Are we ready to go, Deb? She asked me to hold on, I think.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was talking to the visitor out there.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Visitor out there.
Okay,
We have to let him out. Sorry about that, Judge.
okay, no worries. I thought you were talking to me. I was following instructions.
No,
Deputy, is position 11 in the courtroom too as well?
yes, we have him.
Okay, it's the same fact, they're co-defendants.
This is position 13, Shelton.
Okay, we'll start with 13, and then if we could do 11, that way they won't have to repeat as much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, this is 22 CR 006730C.
I'm sorry, Judge. I didn't mean to cut you off. If you don't mind, we have the Spanish interpreter for courtroom 3? They're ready for the breakout.
I do see her on the screen. Ms. Champion, can you put the Spanish is he going over to the phone for the interpreter to call, or?
No, they're gonna go to courtroom 3 for a breakout. We're just trying to
Okay,
get the interpreter in a breakout with courtroom 3.
And Your Honor, that is my case.
okay, and that's Ms. Gant, good. Oh, so is this your case too, Ms. Gant 13?
No, Your Honor, just the breakout, position 3.
Oh, good, okay, so we can continue since it's not your case. Who is this, Ms. Kim? Okay, gotcha. Ms. Champion's doing that, okay. Now we're ready to start. Markel Shelton, you're charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Offense date, September the 16th, 2022, pretrial.
First arrest. I want to co-sign unless you send it through the jail. That's fine with me.
Okay. Got it. All right, go ahead, ASG King.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred on September 16th of this year. Officers were dispatched to a larceny at Daddy D's, the barbecue joint located at 264 Memorial Drive Southeast in Atlanta. Upon arrival, they met with one of the employees, John Jackson III. He advised that the co-defendant, Carlos Peterson, took a tip jar containing $20. He was actually able to show video footage of the incident. The officers were also able to speak with the owner of the restaurant that states that the co-defendant had also been harassing them as well. This defendant and the co-defendant are dating. That's how they know each other. The state, due to the limited criminal history, the state is requesting a 2,000 signature bond. We was originally going to ask through a pretrial, but after hearing pretrial saying they want a co-signer, we would defer to the court regarding if it's through the jail or pretrial. But we are asking for a stay away and no further contact with the co-defendant, Carlos Peterson, John Jackson III, and Jermon Booker, who's the owner of the establishment, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
We would like to request for through jail, Your Honor. He's 18 years old and he thought he was getting his tips. There's no larceny sounds really serious, and that was not his intention. We comply with everything, the bond conditions. We prefer jail, but we would like to defer to the court, Your Honor.
My apologies, Your Honor. To clarify the record, Mr. Shelton, who's the defendant before you, is not an employee and was never an employee. It is the co-defendant that was an employee. So saying he was getting his tips is a complete fallacy, Your Honor.
I was gonna ask that if he was an employee there working. Let me also ask Ms. Kim, as Mr. Shelton graduated from high school, is he an independent person or is he still living with his parents at home?
He graduated on May 2022 with over GPA 3.0. He loves mathematics and he's actually preparing to go to college at Georgia State. He wants to study psychology and he dreams to be rich someday.
I was going to say that is my goal as well. Let's see. So we do know the co-defendant was the employee and Mr. Shelton was not. And I'm not for sure if you answered me or not. Is he living at home or on his own? Do you know? Or
He lives with his mother at 356 Holderness Street, Your Honor.
and does he have a job?
Not yet, Your Honor. He actually does a part-time job. He carry boxes and foods to give out the food to people at State Farm Arena. That's kind of like an hourly, and it's not stable job yet. But he's looking for a job.
I'm going to, and have you spoke with his mother or not, or his parents? before?
I was able to text, and his mother is able to co-sign if necessary.
Isn't she on here? Somebody on here last name Shelton, right? At the bottom.
Oh, is Miss Shelton, Tashika Shelton, are you affiliated? with
Yes.
him?
Tushika, yes, that's his mother.
That's his mother? Okay,
Yes.
Miss Shelton, can you hear me? Miss Shelton,
Can you hear me?
now I can. Can you turn on your camera, please?
Okay, hold on, I'm at work, hold on.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Miss Shelton?
I'm good.
And so you are Markel Shelton's mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I don't know if you wish to address the court or not. I had a few questions of you, so let me put you under oath real quick. Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so Markel is 18 years old, just graduated from high school in May.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and he's still living with you and you're dependent at the moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he says he wants to be rich, so hopefully he will not be your dependent very long. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, and so I understand he's just working part-time.
Yes, and he's supposed to be signing up for school.
Okay,
So, to go to Georgia State.
okay. Let me ask you this, are you able to co-sign for him and present a utility bill in your name?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Let's do that. I think that'll make me feel a little bit more comfortable so that we can make sure that he returns to court and follows the conditions of his bond. I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Okay.
And when you go down to pick him up from the jail, you'll have to show your ID and license as well as a utility bill in your name at that address. Is that correct, pretrial?
Yeah, I'll give her the instructions in the chat.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I don't see on log off. Just check your chat.
Yeah, don't log
Okay.
in. You know how to do that? Check the chat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And as they say, don't let me mess it up and give you wrong instructions.
Okay.
And so I'm going to order that he stay away from the incident location, which is
Okay.
Memorial Drive, and I did not write down the address at ASG King.
It is 264 Memorial Drive Southeast in Atlanta.
Okay, 264 Memorial Drive Southeast, Daddy D's Barbecue. He is not to go there, else he'll go right back to jail.
Okay.
He is to have no further contact with the co-defendant in this case.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's great news.
Okay, and so that is it Miss Peterson?
Yes, Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson.
Mr. Okay, right, with Carlos Peterson. No further
Okay.
contact with him. So do you understand that, Mr. Shelton?
Yes.
I don't know if he's your friend or not, but you are to have no further contact with him, no further contact with John Jackson III or Jamon Booker. So all of those people you are not to have any contact with, and do not go back to that establishment. And I'm going to order that you have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for any prescriptions that may be prescribed to you. All right.
All right.
All right, that will conclude this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, for position 11, because that's Ms. Gant's case and she's in a breakout, we're not able to do her case right now.
Oh, shoot, okay.
Your
I'll-
Honor.
That should be a conflict.
I represent
right.
Mr. Peterson.
11?
No, position 11 is Ms. McLeod. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Peterson is my client, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Come on, Mr. Peterson.
All right. This is case number 22 CR 006728A. Carlos Peterson, you're charged with 1 count of theft by taking. Offense date September the 16th, 2022. I've heard the facts, Ms. King. I don't know if there's anything you wish to add.
Yes, there is, Your Honor. This defendant is a previous employee of this establishment. 22 CP 212987 is a criminal damage in the second that occurred at this location. There's video footage of the defendant slashing the tires and damaging the vehicle of the owner and a cashier, that is the John Jackson III and Jermon Booker, Your Honor. And he's been criminally trespassed from this location due to him continuing to come back after being fired. The owners is saying they're currently pursuing a TPO against him because he continues to come back despite orders from the court and orders from law enforcement not to return. For that reason, the state is requesting a $2,000 surety for him, no further contact, a stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, and I'm sorry, pretrial, I think I skipped over you.
You did.
I'm sorry.
All right. Second arrest.
Okay,
Last was 2018 for trespass, criminal damage to property in the first. That was out of Clayton County. He has a hold out of Decatur for shoplifting. He went to felony earlier and got a $10,000 good bond for the 2 counts of criminal damage to property. Second degree.
Your Honor, you're muted.
all right, I'm sorry.
Do you want me to go now, Your Honor?
Yes, I think we're ready. We're out of circle, but that's okay. I do have the gist of what the facts are here, or the allegations, should I say. So go ahead, PD McLeod.
Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. As Petrol has noted, he's had just 1 previous arrest. He has 2 years of college. He is a native of Atlanta, and he tells me that he's always worked in the food service industry, although the degree that he's working on is in design, because he's always had a flair for that, and he's always wanted to create for himself and for other people. He denies the allegations stated by the prosecution. In fact, he tells me that he had been employed there, and in the 16th of September, when this incident allegedly happened, he went there to get his last paycheck. He denies that he stole anything, and I believe, in looking at the warrant myself, that the allegation was that someone else who was with him took $20 from the tip jar, but my client denies that he did that. He just said that he was there for purposes of collecting his paycheck. I know that the prosecutor has said that he went back there despite warnings from the court, but that's not the case, Your Honor. He went back there. There was no warning in place at the time. He had not been criminally trespassed from the establishment when he went back there simply to retrieve his last paycheck. Given the nature of the allegations, Your Honor, and the fact that there are also some other pending charges, and of course, these are all allegations. He's not been found guilty of anything concerning the same establishment. I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond. He does not have any significant criminal history. He was gainfully employed, and he does have the potential to to be that again, Your Honor, so he can get out of jail. The pretrial has already said that he went to felony and was given a 10,000 good bond. He's not working, so he's going to have great difficulty posting that, Your Honor. And there's no reason for this misdemeanor offense that he should not be given a signature bond. And I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond so he can get out of jail if he's able to, of course, post his felony bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, there's video footage showing the defendant and the co-defendant coming to the counter and ordering food. When the cashier was getting the food, they took a cake and the tip jar. This is clearly seen on the footage, and they ran out of the store. He was not there to get a check. He was not there to do anything outside of steal from this establishment. That he was criminally trespassed. They were able to show documentation to law enforcement. And he also showed the footage of him damaging their vehicles after the incident, Your Honor. All of this is documented and the law enforcement saw it itself.
Your Honor, we are not here to address the issue of any damage to vehicles. We're simply here to address what he's currently charged with in this court, which is a misdemeanor theft by taking, Your Honor. And even if we take all the facts alleged by the prosecution, it is true. They're saying that he took a slice of cake and that the person he was with took $20 from the tip jar. We have to put all of this in perspective. These are mere allegations. And just because there may be video does not necessarily mean that the video has captured the essence of everything that happened from start to finish when he arrived there. And he did work there before, so he had a good reason for going there. He says he went back there to get his last check and that he did not receive it, which is probably quite true.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location, that 264 Memorial Drive. I'm going to order no further contact with the co-defendant Markel Shelton, no further contact with John Jackson III, and no further contact with Jamon Booker. And Mr. Peterson, I understand you're not working there any longer at the Daddy D's barbecue, so you have no reason to go back there. If you do, you will be arrested again. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for any medication prescribed to you. All right. That'll be the ruling of the court.
Thank you.
Position 9, Parker.
All right, this is position 22 CR 006733G. Alan Earl Parker, you're charged with 1 count of DUI, driving under the influence with the concentration 0.08 G in more than 3 hours. You're also charged with the second offense of DUI less safe, and a third charge of driving or speeding. And a fourth charge of improper turn. All 4 charges with the offense date of October the 6th, 2022. Pretrial.
6 total. Our last was 2017 suspended license. It was amended. Driving without a valid license conviction. Mr. God, the DUIs. Hold on. Yeah. 2015 DUI conviction. 2014 suspended license conviction. 2017 probation for DUI and VGCSA. That's it.
All right, ASG King.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred on October 6th. Law enforcement observed the defendant make an illegal U-turn over a raised concrete median. The officer also observed the defendant's speed. He was going 60 in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. At that point, he conducted the traffic stop. When he made contact with the defendant, he noticed his eyes were red and watery and his speech was slurred. When he asked him to step out of the car, that's when he smelled the odor of alcohol on his breath and coming from his pores, Your Honor. The defendant also admitted to consuming alcohol earlier in the day. After field sobriety was conducted, the officer concluded that he was impaired to drive. Implied consent was read and the defendant agreed, and the levels was 0.217, Your Honor. As Your Honor heard, this is the defendant's second DUI. The state is requesting an $8,000 split bond in this matter. That's a $3,000 surety for the per se, a $3,000 signature for the less safe, and $1,000 surety for the other two charges. The state is also asking for no driving and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right.
Yes, Mr. Alan Parker, he is 27 years old, Your Honor, and he has been here in Georgia for about 12 years. And he has a 6 years old daughter that he has to support financially. He does have a restaurant that he owns partially. He was a manager for about 5 years. And then from 2 years ago, he became a part owner for the restaurant. And he does a lot for the community. He has a soup kitchen for the homeless and for the people who are poor, who cannot eat. He's been providing the free food. He also graduated from high school, Your Honor. And we would like to request for at least driving with limited purposes of attorney meeting, court, medical reason, and work, Your Honor. He has to take care of his daughter, Your Honor.
The state would object to any driving provisions due to this being his second DUI, as well as him being almost 3 times over the legal limit, Your Honor.
The other one happened long time ago, about like 7 or 8 years ago, Your Honor. It's been
Only 6.
still more than 5 years ago, Your Honor. That's relatively remote.
Okay, I am going to order the $8,000 surety bond, which will be the breakdown, $3,000 on the first charge, $3,000 on the second, and $1,000 on each of the other 2 driving charges. So that's a total of $8,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I believe that I heard from pretrial, and Ms. King, you can correct me if I'm wrong, he pled guilty to driving on a suspended license 2017.
That's correct, Your Honor. And he also has a conviction from 2014 where he pled nolo in that one, but under the statute, a nolo is considered a guilty. So he does have 2 driving while license suspended convictions.
I am not sure if he even has a license at this point, or a valid license for that matter. I understand he owns a restaurant and things of this nature, and may do some things in the community. What I'm concerned about is someone getting killed or hurt if he continues to have these allegations and arrests for DUI, as well as other driving offenses. I usually say no driving unless you have a valid license from DDS. Can you ask your client about that, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Do you have a valid license at this point, Mr. Parker?
I do.
Yes, Your Honor, he does.
I'm going to then limit his driving to work only, to see his attorney, or to court, and for medical assistance. Otherwise, he needs to be in the house and not driving. Or if he needs to go anywhere else, he needs to take an Uber or have someone else to do it for him. Do you understand your limited driving privileges, Mr. Parker?
I do.
Okay. All right. And so that will be the ruling of the court. Is there anything else I need to take up, counsel?
May I please clarify the breakdown? Because I thought it was, the prosecutor was saying that it will be $8,000 split bond and $3,000 for DUI per se, and the other $1,000 was a signature on bond. May we please clarify that part?
Yes, go ahead, Ms. King. Is that correct? I think you did, but I didn't say that correct, did I?
The state will completely be okay with the judge's ruling, as already stated.
Yeah, I'm just going to, with what I've heard on the record, let me just leave it to an $8,000 straight surety bond. I will not do split.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Judge Mency.
Yes.
I do apologize for interrupting. Regarding position 5, Mr. Rodriguez Gore.
Uh-huh.
I thought that I read this. I do apologize for not bringing it to your attention, but in the warrant, Your Honor, for Mr. Rodriguez Gore, it states that almost last sentence states that Ms. Saxton left the residence and does not plan on, well, Ms. Saxton got a ride from a friend and stated she will be leaving and not returning. And as I indicated in my argument, that it is my client's
Uh-oh, did we lose Ms. Gant?
Yes. Looks like it. There she goes.
Oh, good, you're back. I thought we lost you right in the middle. Sorry.
I was being transferred to a breakout, but Your Honor, I had expressed to the court that it is Mr. Gore's belief that Ms. Gore would be leaving the residence. So I would again ask Your Honor that if he is able to confirm with law enforcement that she is no longer there, may he continue to reside in his residence. He stated that he is the leaseholder there, Your Honor, at the incident location.
I think, was this ASG Select's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does it say that on the warrant? I don't have it in front of me. On the
Yes, it does read that way, Your Honor. The state does still have concerns because, you know, victims will say one thing one day and then say something else the next day. I do understand the discretion of the court, Your Honor, but the state is going to stand firmly on its recommendation to stay away from the incident location at this time, based on us not having any contact with the defendant and not knowing, with the victim and not knowing for sure whether she is still staying at that location or not.
what I've done in the past, I understand he's the leaseholder is what he's saying. I know this was a couple of days ago. This was 10-4. I'm always concerned about the cooling off period. And I, Ms. Champion, in that order, if he goes back with this law enforcement escort for the one-time escort to retrieve personal items, if law enforcement determines that there are no items there belonging to Miss Saxton or the 2 children, then he can reside there. If not, he needs to stay away from that location if there are any items there belonging to the victim and the children. So that's a clarification I would make on the bond order, Ms. Gant and Ms. Silver.
Thank you so much for allowing me to argue, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
This is position 12, Mr. Robinson, and also for Mr. Gore, Ms. Gant, if he's not, oh, where's Ms. Gant?
He's not a what, deputy?
No, he's not in the courtroom, so
Oh.
I don't know if Ms. Gant wanted to speak with him. They already took him back to the floor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. This is position 12, Mr. Robinson.
Okay. This is 22 CR 006729J, Shaquille Robinson. You're charged with 1 count of fare evasion and 2nd count of criminal trespass. The offense date is October the 6th, 2022 for both those charges. Pre-trial.
7 total. Last arrest was back in August, shoplifting. July, shoplifting. 2020, simple battery, robbery. Simple battery was a conviction. He got 10 years probation for that. So he's on probation for that until 2031. That's out of Decatur County, Bainbridge, Georgia. 2020, 2 counts of obstruction conviction. 2019, simple battery, pled NOLO. Shoplifting, he got PTI for in 2015. And he got a hold out of Henry County. It's for a failure to appear.
Okay.
Your Honor, this offense occurred on October 6th. The defendant went to the Midtown MARTA station and pushed his way through the pay station. And when in search incident to arrest, they found a MARTA suspension that started on September 4th and was set to expire on November 3rd, Your Honor. As Your Honor heard, he has multiple cases open. He has the 2 shopliftings. One, it was an APD arrest and the other was in DeKalb. He has a 2021 conviction, Your Honor, which he's still on probation for. This defendant shows that he has no regard for probation conditions as well as bond conditions. While there is currently a $5,000 surety in place, the state feels that's excessive and is requesting a $2,000 surety due to the charges before Your Honor today. But the state is requesting a stay away from the Midtown MARTA station located at 41 10th Street in Atlanta, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay.
Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond because he has no other place to go except Henry County right now for failure to appear. So he will be still here and waiting to be transferred. We would like, he is actually 24 years old and he was born and raised here in Georgia. This is his hometown. His parents and his mom is here. His older brother is here. However, no one is available to pay for any kind of bond at this point. He was actually indeed heading to the job interview. He really needs to get a job. He has 10th grade high school education and he does not have oh, I guess that's it, Your Honor. We would like to request for signature on bond if possible, so he can be able to be transferred to take care of Henry County issues as well. Thanks.
Okay. All right, I'm going to agree to issue a bond for the $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to, which will be $1,000 on each charge.
But I thought we only had one. Oh yeah, criminal trespass.
Oh, we have the two.
No problem.
Okay, $1,000 on each of the charges for a total of $2,000 surety bond. Then
Yes.
order to stay away from 41 10th Street, the Midtown MARTA station. Stay away from that station, Mr. Robinson. And because you're already suspended from there anyway. But if you go back, you'll just be rearrested. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for anything prescribed to you. And I think that's it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state.
All right, thank you.
Position 10, Parks.
This case number, oh.
And Your Honor, this is a cross-defendant case with position 15.
All right, this is 22 CR 006727G, Andre Parks. You charge at 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is October the 6th, 2022. Pre-trial.
My co-worker got that file. He went to felony. I have to go get it.
Oh, all right.
Hey, you got the history?
I do.
Okay,
All right. I'll still go get it. I'll see what the bond was though.
okay, thank you. Ms. King, you can go forward to give us a little bit of the criminal history that you all have.
Yes, Your Honor, there's 18 total cycles. There's a current felony case open, 22 CP 212984 for identity theft. I do not have the bond on that one yet. He has an entering auto conviction from 2021, 3 counts of entering auto and financial transaction card theft from 2019. He has 12 entering auto convictions from 2018, a forgery in the 4th from October of 2018, and a forgery in the 4th from August of 2018. He also has a criminal damage to property in the 2nd, damaging, entering, or interfering with property of public utility companies, theft by receiving, hit and run, aggravated battery conviction from 2011, Your Honor. This offense occurred on October 6th. Officers were dispatched to 6523 Split Pine Court in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, they met with the victim of this case, Darius Williams, who was outside of the reference wearing a sweatshirt, boxers, and socks. He stated that he just woke up to the defendant who was angry, beating on him, Your Honor. The officers noted seeing a swollen lip and as well as a cut and blood on him. Due to the defendant having multiple convictions, one he's even still on probation for, as well as a open felony here in Fulton County, the state is requesting a $4,000 surety in this case. No further contact with Darius Williams. And regarding the stay away, it's unclear who actually lives at that location. So I will defer to the court once all the information is gathered, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay.
Good afternoon again, Your Honor. My client is 30 years old. He has 2 years of college. He is the native of Atlanta, and he is currently employed as a manager in the food industry. He denies the allegations made by the prosecution, and I point out to the court that the alleged victim was arrested arrested because police officers were unsure as to who was the aggressor in this case. My client tells me absolutely was not the aggressor. He was the one who called the police because he needed help to get this gentleman to leave his home. He is the person who lives at this house. It's a rented house, Your Honor, and he is the leaseholder. The other person does not live there. His name is not on the lease or anything, so it is my client's home. While I acknowledge that my client does have some history, Your Honor, his history is not related to domestic violence in the least. I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond, Your Honor, because he actually was the one who called the police. He had a legitimate reason to call the police for help, and then he ends up being arrested. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, once again, I must clarify the record. The victim in this case was not arrested due to this incident, Your Honor. It was from a separate incident that happened at a totally different day, Your Honor.
Okay. And again, what was the state's recommendation?
A $4,000 surety, no further contact. And regarding the stay away, I would like to hear from Mr. Williams' attorney regarding if he stays there. It's the state's preference that Darius Williams be allowed to stay since his offense was not violent, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. McLeod, do you have any more information regarding the housing or the?
It is my client's house. He is the lessee of this house, Your Honor, and he has lived there. He says that Mr. Williams, I believe is his name, he is there sometimes, you know, he has stayed there because they are in a relationship. But it is my client's home. And he doesn't have anywhere else to go. It's his home.
Okay, Ms. King.
Yes, the information was provided to law enforcement that they both live there. That's the information they both gave law enforcement. They both reside there. So I would defer to ASG Walker if he has more of a preference, but I think it'll be more appropriate for Mr. Williams to be able to stay since his offense was not violent.
I would concur that we can hear from the other party's attorney if the court finds it appropriate.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Walker. All right, I'm going to go ahead and order the $4,000 surety bond.
Your Honor, my understanding is that his bond in the felony matter is $15,000. So if he gets a $4,000 here, we're looking at $19,000. And that's, you know, he's not working right now because he's locked up. He doesn't have those kind of resources. So essentially, if his bond is at just $4,000 in this case, he will be sitting in jail for some time.
Now, Attorney McLeod, didn't you reference earlier that we were only looking at the cases before the court this morning or this afternoon, and now you're referencing another case that's not before the court this afternoon?
I'm not referring the case. I'm just speaking about
But
the
you
amount
said
of
it
the
was going
bond.
to be a total $19,000 bond. I thought we were sticking to what's before the court this afternoon. That's a separate
But I
matter.
think it is also relevant for the judge to know we're not talking about the offenses.
I'm just
We're talking about
referencing
the
what you
fact
said, there was gonna be a
pretrial
total
said he went to
$19,000
felony.
bond. That's somewhat misleading because that's not the case that's before the court this afternoon. That's a separate
I
matter.
understand, Mr. Walker, but
As you reminded the court just earlier. So I'm just reminding you what you said. That's all.
I appreciate your position on this, counsel, but I was just told by pretrial, this is news to me that he had been to felony. I did not know that, and that he had a 15K bond. So I think that it is important for the court to understand that he does have this bond. I was unaware of that until pretrial said that.
All right.
And I think
I
it is
get it, counsel.
relevant.
But I'm basing it on also his history, his 18 cycles. He's got his open felony, so I am not inclined to give him a signature bond under any conditions at this point. So I'm going to stick to my first ruling of the $4,000 surety bond. I'm going to order at this point that he have no further contact with the victim. And that victim is also the cross defendant as well. Yeah,
That's correct, Your Honor.
no further contact with Darius Williams. As far as the address here, I'm going to, since this just happened and there's not been any cooling off period, I'm going to order him to stay away from that location. He can have a one-time escort to go back to retrieve his personal belongings. And we've not heard any evidence, and we'll see in the other case if there's any evidence of the cross defendant moving out or have already moved out. But I'm going to stick right now to ordering that there be a stay away from the 6523 split line court till we can determine further what's going on or possibly going on there. But let's do the stay away for now. And then after the other case, I may change, I may not. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Your Honor, I think my client has his hands up. I don't know if he wants to speak about his bond.
You can only ask me a question, Mr. Parks, about your bond conditions. Don't make any statements that may be against your interest. Do you have a question about your bond conditions? What's that question? Can you hear me? What's your question?
Well, my question basically is how, first and foremost, how can somebody tell me to stay away from the home that I'm paying for? And secondly, I don't feel like this is just a big misunderstanding in the whole outright. So with that being said, like nobody needs to stay away from, nobody will, never mind.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to stop you there. You're getting a little too far into their facts and allegations, and there could be some statements made against your interest. So I'm sure you need to stop there. Well, the problem is there's a victim who needs protection here, and the court needs to make sure of that. We don't necessarily tell our victims to go live somewhere else. They may choose to do that, but we want to make sure that that is the case and that the two of you are not going to be together this soon after the incident to have any other occurrences similar to the ones alleged here, because we have to make sure that he is protected in where he's staying from any further allegations on your part.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to order the stay away for the moment here to make sure when we hear the other case, I may change, I may not. But right now, I hear what you're saying, but if you would hang on, I'll see what else I can get as far as any credible evidence or testimony. And I may change my ruling and I may not. So right now, you'll have to stay away and find someplace else to live unless your attorney files for a modification of that bond
Can
condition.
I say one more thing, please, ma'am?
I don't know if it, you know.
Let's just say one more thing, ma'am. That's all I have to say. Ma'am, like, I get your ruling, but as far as that money part, like, ma'am, I don't have that much money. My grandmama's the only person helping me out. And with $19,000, that's a lot of money. I mean, I literally have like $3,000 to my name. And that's that. And that's the only thing I'll be able to do. And if I can't get out of jail, then nobody's gonna have nowhere to stay. I have a dog, I have other things going on. I have like a whole personal life that's gonna be ruined if I have to sit here and can't afford to get out of jail. Like I know I have a background, but I literally, I need to be home.
Well, I do hear that a lot. And so I'm looking at the totality of the circumstances. And so with the totality, the factors, the criminal history, and what the allegations are at this point, I'm not going to change my ruling yet on you going back to that location until we know that the victim in this case is going to be safe. So I do hear you, but I'm not moved at this point to change my ruling because of what you said, okay? So let's hear the other case, deputy, and then we'll let you know if there's any changes.
Come on, Mr. Williams. Position 15, Williams.
All right, this is 22 CR 006732G, Darius Javante Williams. You charge him 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property. Offense date 9/9/2022.
His ninth arrest. Last was back in August out of Lake City, probation. 2019 suspended license. That was out of Lake City. 2017 battery, theft by taking, trespass. He got first offender for those. 2017 suspended license. 2017 failure to appear for trespass. More suspended license. That's it.
Okay. ASG King.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred on September 9th of this year. Officers were dispatched to 6523 Split Pine Court in reference to damage to a property. Upon arrival, they met with the victim in the case, Andre Parks, and they also met with an independent witness, Ariel Shropshire. Shropshire actually stated that she saw the defendant kick the door and she saw him running away. The defendant actually had to get medical attention to his foot because it was cut bad and it was bleeding pretty bad. Your Honor, both parties have a history, but we're only asking for 2,000 surety in this case due to this offense not being violent towards a person. We are asking for no further contact with Andre Parks and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. And what was the amount again?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
What was your recommended amount again?
Oh, 2,000 surety.
Okay. All right. Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Darius Williams is 25 years old, Your Honor, and he's a native Atlanta, Georgia person, and he has his family members here in Georgia. This is his hometown. He has actually, he does work as assistant manager at a restaurant from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., sometimes 6 p.m., or it depends on how long. He has been doing that for about 4 months. And his education is, he went to high school up to 9th grade, and then he got GED. And Your Honor, right now he has a chronic medical condition that he has a very, very bad immune system right now, and he has to go to Grady Hospital. His injury, it was on September 9, what happened was completely misunderstanding, according to my client. He fell through it by mistake, and he's the one who got hurt. His foot was cut. Even now, he has a hard time to walk. And he also has a stitch on his forehead, and he has a hard time to move his body right now. We would like to make sure that he gets a signature on bond so he can go to the hospital and be taken care of. Thank you.
And then I didn't know if council wanted to speak to where her client resides.
Oh, he says he resides with Mr. Andre Parks at 6523 Split Pine Courts.
That is the state's understanding as well. So we're asking for Mr. Williams to be able to return to that residence and Mr. Parks stay away.
All right. All right, I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location, which is the
You want both parties to stay away? Your
I'm
Honor?
sorry, I'm sorry. No, stay
Okay.
away here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right, no. We're going to allow Mr. Williams to reside there temporarily. And we're going to order that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that is all. Anything else, counsel?
Your Honor, may we please ask special attention to his medical condition, Your Honor? If he cannot pay for his bond, I want to make sure that he gets sent to Grady Hospital because of his immune system. It is very chronic disease that he has. It's
Your Honor, we can convert the bond to a pretrial services bond, if you're okay with it.
Same amount, Ian?
Yes,
Okay,
in consideration of his health.
okay. All right, so we'll change that, Ms. Kim, to a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you.
And
Really
then,
appreciate it.
but he still needs to stay away from that address.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry.
he can return.
I'm kicking myself. No. Mr. Williams, go seek your medical help and you can go back and stay at the residence because Mr. Parks, Andre Parks will be staying away from that location. All right. And so Mr. Parks, we're sticking to that. But my first ruling was, if you can hear me in the background, Mr. Parks will be staying away. Mr. Williams will be able to stay there with no, hopefully no worries from Mr. Parks coming back, or else Mr. Parks will be rearrested. So that is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial for Mr. Williams. You can remain at that residence, go get your medical care. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And then for position 10, Mr. Parks has to stay away from the incident location on Split Pine. All right, and that's the ruling of the court.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you very much, Your Honor.
Okay, sorry for any confusion.
All right, you're done. Position 1, banks. Second one.
This is 22 CR 006720A Jordan Banks. You're charged with 1 count of battery family violence. The offense date is October the 6th, 2022. Pretrial.
First,
All right, ASG Select.
Yes, Your Honor. On October 6, 2022, Officer Stewart was dispatched to 3378 Greenbrier Parkway, Unit 10208. Upon arrival, Officer Stewart met with Miss Danasia Miller, DANAJIA Miller. Miss Miller and the defendant reside together and share children together. On this date, she and the defendant had a verbal exchange about possible infidelity in their relationship. The defendant became upset and punched her in the mouth and placed his hands around her neck. Officer Stewart observed the victim to have a swollen lip and bruising on her neck. The defendant appeared to be highly intoxicated. While Officer Stewart was arresting the defendant, he threatened to beat the victim's ass when he got out of jail. This was recorded on Officer Stewart's body-worn camera. And I know that he does not have a arrest history, but because of what we know about the cycle of violence, the state would argue that this defendant poses a risk of reoffending due to the nature of the charges, and the defendant actually said out of his own mouth that when he is to be released, that he would reoffend again. The state's recommendation is going to be a $5,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, Denasia Miller, stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, Your Honor. Nothing further from the state.
All right, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jordan Banks is 22 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area for 2 years. He shares 2 children with the complaining witness, Ms. Denaya Miller. The children are ages 5 months and 3 years old. Mr. Banks has an associate's degree in business management. However, Your Honor, he is unemployed. He had anticipated beginning a job at Amazon sometime next week. However, he had been in the home assisting with childcare while the complaining witness, Ms. Miller, worked. He strongly denies the allegations, Your Honor. He does not have any prior convictions, specifically for violence, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Banks' behalf. He is presumed innocent, Your Honor, and he wants contact. I was able to reach out to Ms. Miller. She is on the call. I saw her earlier. She wants contact as well. Therefore, I'm requesting a no violent contact order, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to order the
Miss, would Your Honor like to hear from Ms. Miller?
yes, she's on, let's see. Oh, I see. She is on the line. Ms. Miller, do you wish to address the court?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Banks?
No, ma'am.
All right, and you all are still in a relationship
Yes, ma'am.
and you have kids together?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
2.
Anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And oh, one last thing, Ms. Miller, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
At this residence, or is this a rental or a home at the 3278 Greenbrier Parkway? I think I heard it was an apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
Whose name's on the lease there?
Jordan and the kids.
You're not on the lease?
No, ma'am.
You reside there and you're not on the lease as a tenant, or
Yes.
you're on there as a tenant, but not a
Yes.
leaseor? Okay.
Your Honor, the state would just like to reiterate its recommendation of no contact. This incident just happened yesterday, and the state would argue that the victim is not in the best position to give a recommendation on whether contact should be had or not. So the state would reiterate its recommendation of no contact based on the nature of the charges, Your Honor.
And again, Your Honor, I do apologize for interrupting. We've heard from Ms. Banks. She gave clear and concise answers to Your Honor's questions regarding her desire for contact.
All right, I'm going to order a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, but I'm going to order no further contact with Denasia Miller. I will order a stay away from the 3278 Greenbrier Parkway, apartment 10208. I'm going to order that Mr. Banks will have a one-time escort to return to that property to retrieve his personal items. And I'm going to order, if there's visitation allowed with the children, that be conducted by third party. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, except for anything prescribed to you.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
I will not be standing there, so he can stay there. I'm moving back to Alabama.
When are you moving?
I just got my job transferred, so I'll be leaving week after next.
So you're not leaving until 2 weeks from now. I don't still want you all there together. I want there to be the proper cooling off period.
Okay.
So that your children don't have to witness anything such as that happening between you. So I will order the stay away for now because you are residing there with the kids. And then Mr. Banks can speak to his attorney. You can apply for a modification if it is determined that you have moved to Alabama. I want to have that to happen first.
Okay.
Not to say up front, I think I am, I probably am, I might, I will. Let's make sure that you are gone before we allow Mr. Banks to return after they request a modification. But right now, I want him to not be there, to stay away and to find other housing, but he can have a one-time law enforcement escort to return to that location to retrieve his belongings.
And yeah, Honor, I do apologize for interrupting. In consideration of what Ms. Miller stated, may Your Honor reflect in the bond order that he is to stay away with the one-time law enforcement escort to confirm that she is vacated. I'm just thinking about the time between his release and when he is actually able to hire an attorney, given that he is unemployed, Your Honor.
No, I'm going to leave it the way it is now and let it come back before the court, because I don't know that it's a sure thing, nor do I know that it will, happen within those couple of weeks. So we want to make sure that Ms. Miller is truly gone and has moved to another state and is out of that residence before doing it. Some of them, if I think it's a short turnaround, maybe, but from what I'm hearing right now, I'm not sure that it is that. So that's why I want to stick to the stay away for now.
Understood. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Position 2, Burnett.
I apologize, Your Honor, for interrupting, but would you also add a one-day anger awareness, since this is a pretrial? Thank
Oh,
you.
yes, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. Yes, a one-day anger awareness course I'll add on through pretrial.
And Your Honor, I, while we're waiting for the next case, I did submit a waiver for position number 4.
Okay.
Garlington and his, and the complaining witness, Ms. Leonard Carla, is on the line. She would like to address the court.
Which one were you bringing up next, Deputy?
This is position 2, Burnett.
Okay. 22 CR 006721G, Malik Burnett. You're charged with 1 count of fair evasion and a 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, both with the offense date of 10/6/2022. Pretrial.
5th arrest.
Okay.
Last arrest was back in April on Martyr. Trespass, hindering person from making emergency call that was dismissed. January 2022. Simple battery trespass out of Austell. 2020 arrest on Martyr for trespass. That was a conviction. 2019 out of Pennsylvania, DUI. That's it. You got an open simple battery trespass and terrorist threats. Let me get this from. Okay, yeah, that's out of Austell. So that's Cobb County. That's it.
Okay. Select.
Yes, Your Honor, on October 6, 2022, Officer Jay Bailey with the MARTA Police Department observed the defendant gain entry into the West End MARTA station at 680 Lee Street in Atlanta by pushing through a closed fare gate in order to avoid paying the $2.50 fee. Officer Bailey stopped the defendant and informed him of what he had just done and asked the defendant for some identification. The defendant failed to provide ID. When Officer Bailey attempted to detain the defendant resisted arrest, ran in different directions and twisted his body and swung his arms in an effort to resist arrest. Officer Bailey was eventually able to detain the defendant. Due to the defendant having several different criminal trespass arrests this year alone, the state would be recommending $1,000 surety bond on each charge and a stay away from the West End MARTA station. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state at this time.
Okay. Ms. Gant.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Malik Burnett is 28 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 3 years. He has a 4-year-old child. He doesn't have family here, nor does he have anyone to assist with bond, Your Honor. Mr. Burnett graduated from high school. He also has some college. He studied criminal justice. He is currently unemployed. He last worked about 2 weeks ago for a company, Winola. He strongly denies the allegations. He's presumed innocent, Your Honor, and I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Burnett's behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000 total, and that is $250 for the fare evasion and $750 for the willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. We are unopposed to the stay away at the incident location. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Right, I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each charge. I'm gonna order a stay away from, is it 680 Lee Street from the MARTA station there?
Yes, Your Honor.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. So, Mr. Burnett, you can't go back to that MARTA station, so you may have to take an Uber, other types of transportation without using, I won't ban you from the whole MARTA at this time, but certainly from that station. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Hey, Judge, I'm sorry, it was 1,000 each
Yes,
in total? Thank you.
yes, and the total 2,000 surety.
Thank you.
Mr. I do not advise you to speak. If you need me to call you at the court house, I'm happy to do that.
I'm just curious. What,
Do you have a question, Dr. Bond?
I do, because I can't pay it, so how?
Mr. Burnett, I'll give you a call, sir.
Is your next question. Position 6, Harper.
This is 22 CR 006724J. Ryan Harper, you're charged with 1 count of battery, offense date 6/28/2022. Pre-trial. Pretrial? Do you have the history, Celeste?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a forgery 2012 conviction, a battery family violence conviction from 2018, 2018 FTA conviction, 2018 fleeing and eluding conviction, 2015 simple battery, cruelty to children in the third degree arrest, 2015, 2021 FTA arrest, 2021 assault family violence arrest, 2022 DUI and fleeing and attempting to elude arrest. On June 28th, 2022, Corporal Williams was dispatched to 3509 the site DACITE Court in South Fulton. Upon arrival, Corporal Williams met with Miss Kayla Anthony, and that's KAILA Anthony. Miss Anthony stated that the defendant is her ex-boyfriend, and he asked her to come over so that they could talk about women who had been contacting Miss Anthony's phone in regards to the defendant. Miss Anthony began recording a video of her and the defendant to send to the women that had been contacting her. The defendant became upset at that time and struck her in the face and demanded that she delete the video. The defendant deleted the video and then dragged her out of the house. Corporal Williams observed the victim to have a lip, and a warrant was obtained for battery. They do not live together, so they don't have any children together to my knowledge, so this is not charged as family violence. But due to the defendant's prior violent history, he does have a battery conviction and prior violent arrest. The state would argue that he poses a risk of reoffending. He's also out on bond for aggravated assault, family violence, not against this victim, and DUI. So he has shown that he once again poses the risk of reoffending again while out on bond, and has shown that he is a danger to the community. The state's recommendation is a $7,500 surety bond, no contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And the victim does not live at that location, so we're not asking for a stay away.
All right. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ryan Harper is 29 years old, and he's a native Atlanta, Georgian. He has his family right now. He has two children, 9 and 7 years old. He has to pay for. We don't have any objection to stay away nor no further contact because their relationship was over. They lived together. There's no children with him, with her. There is no reason to actually meet again. This incident happened on June 28, 2022, Your Honor. So that was before all these arrest was happening, the DUI arrest was happening. But anyway, he's gainfully employed at Amazon right now. He sorts mails, he packages, and he uploads the mails. He really likes his job. He's been doing it about a year. He does not want to lose his job because it's not easy to support 2 young children. And 11th grade of education, he completed GED. He's not a threat to the other community. He's not going to intimidate the witness at all because they don't have any relationship. And he has a strong ties to the community. We would like to request for maximum $1,000 to surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
And Your Honor, if I may, aggravated assault family violence arrest was in April of 2022. So that arrest actually occurred before this offense. And Mr. Howard from pretrial just messaged me and said that he got a $10,000 bond on the DUI and fleeing. from this morning, our first appearance. So I misspoke when I said that he was out on bond for the DUI already.
So he's not out of the bond.
On the aggravated assault, he is.
All right, all right, I'm going to order a $5,000 surety bond on the battery. I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Kayla Anthony. And we won't need a stay away. I'm gonna order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state.
You're done. Position 7 and 8, Henderson.
All right, we have two cases. Mr. Henderson. And I see Ms. McLeod, you representing him on one or both?
I am representing him on both, Your Honor.
Okay. 22 CR 006725J. He is charged with one count of battery, family violence from June 26, 2022. And then a second case, 22 CR 006726J. One count of criminal trespass and damage to property. And that offense date is April the 14th, 2022. I don't know if they're the same victims or not, but we'll see if we can handle them together. Different victims or the same victims?
Your Honor, I believe one of the alleged victims is his girlfriend or former girlfriend, and the other alleged victim is the mom.
Okay, thank you.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Go ahead on the first case ending in 6725J with the offense date of 6/26/2022. And I'm sorry, pretrial.
Second arrest. Last arrest was in February for battery DV and obstruction. It's open. 22 CR 000738J. That's a $3,000 pretrial bond. So it'll be 3 on top of whatever you said.
Okay. All right, Ms. Slett.
Yes, Your Honor. On June 26, 2022, Officer Wilson was dispatched to 320 Fairburn Road, apartment R6. And he met with Miss Chiquita Law, CHIQUETA Law, LAW. Ms. Law stated that she and the defendant lived together for about a year and that he had recently gotten out of jail for domestic violence against her. She stated that the defendant came to her home and asked her to come outside to talk. Ms. Law said that she went outside to talk to the defendant and he immediately began punching her in the face at least 6 to 7 times. Officer Wilson observed visible injuries to the victim's neck, along with dark bruising and scratches on the victim's face. The February 2022 battery family violence arrest, that pretrial that stated before Your Honor, it has the same victim as this case before Your Honor today. Because of what we know about the cycle of violence, the defendant poses a risk of reoffending and is a danger to Ms. Law and her mother, which we'll talk about on the other case. The state's recommendation is a $5,000 cash bond, no contact with Ms. Chiquita Law, and a stay away from that incident location, 320 Fairburn Road, apartment R6, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Nothing further from the state at this time.
All right, and the state's recommendation was a $5,000 cash bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. McLeod.
Your Honor, I believe Ms. Law is on the Zoom, and I would like to wait until she
Oh, I see.
has heard from her.
All right, Ms. Law, do you wish to address the court? You wish to address the court?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, can you turn on your camera? All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to say to the court?
What you say again, ma'am?
What would you like to say to the court?
Nothing. I talked to nothing really. Everything. I haven't been around Lorenzo Henderson for about like some months now. So
Your Honor, I'm sorry, but I can't see the victim's face.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you move your there you go.
I said I haven't been around Lorenzo Henderson. My phone was going dead, so it was on the charger.
We have to see you. Okay. So are you in fear? Are you in fear of Mr. Henderson?
No.
Okay. But you don't reside with him, correct?
Yes.
No, you don't reside with him?
What you say again? My phone.
Excuse me. Respectfully, I'll ask, do you reside with Mr. Henderson?
No.
Okay.
My phone is low, so I'm trying to
All
put it
right.
to my ear.
All right, that's fine. I don't have any further questions. Any cross?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, the state just wanted to add that the previous battery family violence arrest, a part of the bond was for him to have no contact with Ms. Law, so he has violated that bond. We also received information from the victim's mother that the defendant punched her in the face apparently a few days ago, and that she saw that she had a black eye. And so we believe that's why she was trying to hide her face on the Zoom, Your Honor.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 18 years old. He just recently received his GED. He also tells me that he's working on his CDL license and he expects to get it in the next 2 months. He denies the allegations concerning him beating up Miss Law. He says that it's absolutely untrue. With respect to the issue with her mom, he acknowledges that something happened and her mom's window got broken. And he had told me that he had spoken with her mom and he had agreed that he would repair the window. I was not able to speak with mom. My understanding was that mom had made an arrangement with him where he would pay for her window and that would be the end of that. Mom had, and that is the, those are the allegations out of which that other case stemmed. And yes, the outstanding case also concerns Miss Law, the previous one that allegedly happened in February, Your Honor. But my client and Miss Law do not live together. They did at one point, but since the incident, they have not lived together. And I actually spoke with her today, and she told me that she told me that she has no problems with Lorenzo. And she denies that there was ever any incident of him hitting her recently or anything like that. That is absolutely untrue, she says. And I spoke with her, and she's still on the Zoom, and the court can ask her about that if the court thinks that it would be necessary. But my client is 18 years old and he's trying to get his life together. He has known Miss Law since they were both in high school. He tells me they've known each other for about 4 years. And her testimony has been she has no issues with him and they do not live together. I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond. I know there was a bond before, Your Honor. But this incident happened, the last incident, I believe, happened in June. This is some time ago. There have been no issues between the two of them since then, and they are no longer in a relationship, to my understanding. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, the state just wants to add that the mom was not okay with what happened in the case that we'll discuss next, but it is true that he did say that he would pay for the damages.
All right. All right, I'm going to order a surety bond in the amount of $10,000. And with that surety bond of $10,000, there will be no further contact with the victim. Shaquille Law. And you said you did or didn't want to request to stay away.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll be requesting to stay away.
Okay, and to stay away from 320 Fairburn Road, apartment R6.
Yes,
He
Your Honor.
doesn't have a problem with the stairway, Your Honor. He doesn't live there.
Okay, good. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Sounds good. I don't think there's anything else I need to take up, do I?
Mr. Henderson, did you want to ask the judge a question about your bond?
Mass microphone.
Yes, I was asking, I don't have no $10,000. I was asking, can I get something in 100? I don't have no 10,000, I only have a couple $100.
Was that 5,000 each? Or just for number 7?
Charge.
10,000.
I only had one charge.
Okay.
There are 2 charges, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's a criminal damn for number 8. That's what I was asking.
There's 2 different cases, but
We
Yeah.
haven't addressed number 8 yet. That's
Okay, so 10,000 for number 7. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Let me hear the second case, please, which is 22 CR 006726J, where Mr. Henderson is charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and damage to property for April the 14th, 2022.
yes, Your Honor, on April 14th, 2022, Officer Burdine was dispatched to 913 Sims Street, Atlanta. Upon arrival, Officer Burdine met with Miss Linda Love, Lindalove. Ms. Love stated that her daughter, Ms. Chiquita Law's boyfriend, who was the defendant in this case, damaged one of the front windows of her home with a brick. The defendant was not on scene at the time when Officer Burdine arrived, but he did observe damage to the window. The state's requesting a $5,000 surety bond on this case, no contact with Linda Love, and stay away from the 913 Sims Street, Atlanta address. And the state would just reiterate its argument it made earlier about the defendant posing a risk of reoffending due to the nature of these charges and due to the multiple charges that he's had this year in reference to this family.
Okay. Ms. McLeod?
Your Honor, I was not able to get a hold of Mom, so I could have a conversation with her about it. I did speak with Miss Law herself, and she told me that her mom had been in contact with the prosecutors to let them know that she was not interested in pursuing any cases against my client because he had agreed to pay for the damage that he did to the window. And that's my understanding of that, Your Honor. It happened some time ago. And since he has agreed to pay for it, it seems to me that there is no purpose in penalizing him additionally, since the parties have worked out whatever the issue was and had come to a resolution. If Mom is happy with that resolution, I would say that if he pays for it, and he has told me that he had agreed to pay for it and was planning to do so, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, once again, our office has had contact with Ms. Love, and she is very upset about this incident. She's upset about all these incidents with her daughter, and she has not been paid back any restitution from the defendant. And whatever Ms. McLeod or whatever Ms. Law has told Ms. McLeod is untrue, because we have actually spoken with the victim in this case this morning, Your Honor.
Okay.
Not spoken with Mom, Your Honor. So, I have to go with what I was told by by her daughter.
Right, and Mr. Henderson is 18.
He is, Your Honor.
Do you know if he's still living in a dependent of mom?
He lives with his mom.
Okay.
His dad, I'm sorry. He lives with his dad, Your Honor.
And you said he's not working?
He is working right now, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He is working, but I did say that he was working also on his CDL, but he works in the food industry at the present time.
All right, on this case, I will order I will order a $3,000 surety bond. Then I order a stay away from the 913 Sim Street and no further contact with, is it Linda Love, his mom?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's not his mom, it's the,
Yeah, the
It's
victim.
not his mom,
Sorry,
it's
the
her
victim's
mom.
Yeah, her mom. I said it back from the victim's mom. No further contact with her, Miss Love. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that is it. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Nothing from the state.
Okay.
Your Honor, I just want to clarify, is this going to be a total bond of 13,000?
Yes.
It's actually gonna be 16 because I already did the bond surrender. That pretrial bond is 3,000. So I had to tweak it up.
Right. Yes. It will be 16. That is it for the court. Anything else?
Okay.
No, Your Honor.
Position 3, Mr. Durrett.
Your Honor, my business before the court is concluded for today. May I be excused?
Okay, have a good weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor. Same to you.
All right, thank you. All right, this is position 3, 22 CR 006722C. Is it Mr. Duarte Medrano? I'm not sure if I'm mispronouncing your name. I apologize.
Este es el caso 22CR006722C. ¿Es su nombre Duarte Medrano? Perdón, hable fuerte, por favor. ¿Cómo dijo?
Dionisio Duarte Medrano.
Dionisio Duarte Medrano. Correct.
All right, I'm sorry. Madam Interpreter, would you raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't swear you in. Do you affirm to interpret accurately from, this is Spanish to English, English to Spanish, the proceedings without any embellishments to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Duarte Medrano, you're charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of reckless conduct, both with the offense date of September the 12th, 2021.
Señor Medrano, usted tiene un cargo de allanamiento de morada y conducta negligente que ocurrió el día 12 de septiembre del 2021.
Pre-trial?
Oh, yeah.
If you can pause for me, sir, please.
This is 5th arrest.
Es el primer arresto.
Last was 2012. It was by Border Patrol for re-entry of removed aliens. Entry without inspection.
Tiene un cargo por entrada sin inspección por el otro tipo de autoridad de patrulla.
He was arrested February 2012 and, well, it was twice in February. One was out of California, one was out of Arizona for alien inadmissibility.
Tiene también otros antecedentes en febrero del 2002. En realidad hay dos. Uno ocurrido en California y el otro en Arizona, y todo por no ser admisible por indocumentación.
That's it as far as the history. He went to felony earlier for those aggravated assaults. He got $20,000 bonds on that.
One moment, please. Tiene otro delito mayor con una fianza de $20,000 por agresión con agravantes.
596. 40.
That's it, Judge.
All right, go ahead,
todo.
ASG Select.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 12th, 2021, Officer Smith arrived at 1118 Creekside Way in Roswell.
El 12 de septiembre del 2021, el oficial Smith, did you say Smith, madam? I'm sorry. The name of the officer, can you please repeat it for me?
S-M-I-T-H.
Thank you. Al domicilio 1118 en Crestside Way.
Upon arrival, Officer Smith spoke with Miss Yesenia Prieto, and that's spelled Yesenia Prieto.
Y a su llegada, él conversó con la señora Yesenia Prieto, Yesenia, Prieto, Prieto.
Miss Prieto and the defendant are married and share children together, but at the time of the incident, they were not residing together.
La señora Yesenia Prieto y el acusado están casados y tienen hijos juntos, pero en el momento del incidente ellos no estaban viviendo juntos en esa residencia.
Ms. Prieto stated that the defendant was trying to get into her home, but she would not allow him in, and the defendant became upset at that time.
I'm sorry. La señora Prieto no permitió que él entrara, no quería que entrara, y entonces él forzó la entrada.
The defendant then threw a rock through the bedroom window of their 3-year-old son.
You gotta give her shorter statements.
Thank you. El señor se enojó al no dejar que se le dé entrada y él tiró una piedra a la ventana del dormitorio. Thank you, Your Honor.
Their son was in the crib next to the window that was broken by the rock.
Y el hijo estaba durmiendo en la cuna cerca de la ventana que se rompió al tirar la piedra.
No one had any physical injuries.
Nadie recibió lesiones físicas.
But there were pieces of glass found inside the crib and in the room.
Y se encontraron pedazos de vidrio en la cuna y en la habitación.
The aggravated assault strangulation arrest, the Miss Yesenia Prieto is the same victim in that case.
El arresto por estrangulación, lo que significa agresión con agravantes, se ejecutó en la señora Yesenia Prieto y esa es la víctima mencionada.
The state would argue that due to the nature of the charges,
la fiscalía refuta debido a la naturaleza de los cargos.
The defendant poses a risk of reoffending.
El acusado representa un riesgo de que vuelva a cometer el mismo delito.
And the state's recommendation on bond is $2,500 surety bond on each charge.
Entonces, la recomendación de la fiscalía es $2,500 de multa para cada cargo y esta sería una fianza bajo garantía.
No contact with the victims, Yesenia Prieto, and their 2 minor children.
No tener ningún contacto con la víctima Yesenia Prieto y ninguno de los niños.
That's the budget I got right now.
Stay away from the incident location, 1118 Creekside Way, Roswell.
Y que se mantenga alejado de la residencia de 1118 de Creekside Way.
No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Nothing further from the state.
Nada más de la fiscalía.
All right, Ms. Gann.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Dionisio Duarte Medrano is 32 years old.
El señor Dionisio Duarte Medrano tiene 21 años. 22,
Yes.
perdón.
He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since 2013.
Y él ha estado en el área de Atlanta, Georgia, desde el 2013.
He is the proud father of 2 sons, 2 of which he shares with the complaining witness, Ms. Yesenia Prieto.
Y él es el orgulloso padre de 2 hijos con la señora que es esposa Yesenia Prieto.
He states that he is married and was a resident of the incident location on the date that this incident is alleged to have occurred.
Él alega que él está casado con la señora y que era un residente de esa residencia el día que ocurrió el incidente.
Further, Mr. Duarte Medrano completed 6th grade and is currently employed as a landscaper.
El señor dice que él terminó el 6º grado de la escuela elementaria y también, I'm sorry, the 6th grade and, I'm sorry, I missed.
My apologies, and currently employed
Thank you.
a landscaper.
Y él está en la actualidad empleado en el trabajo de paisajismo.
Mr. Duarte Medrano is presumed innocent in this case and any open cases.
El señor Duarte Medrano se lo considera inocente en este caso y en cualquier otro caso que esté todavía pendiente.
He strongly denies the allegations.
Y él fuertemente niega los alegatos.
He will not be able to make bond, Your Honor. Therefore, I am asking for a bond of no more. Well, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Medrano's behalf.
Yo en realidad estoy pidiendo que le otorgue una fianza bajo firma para el señor Medrano.
And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of.
You already know what I got going on here.
Y si su señoría no cree que cumple con los requisitos, yo voy a pedir una fianza de
No more than $1,500 total.
que sobrepase los $1,500 en total.
$500 for criminal trespass and $1,000 for reckless conduct.
$500 por allanamiento de morada y, perdón, 1.500 por allanamiento de morada y 500 por la conducta negligente.
We are unopposed to any stay away and no contact provisions.
Nosotros no tenemos ninguna oposición, mi cliente no se opone a mantener distancia de la víctima.
However, we are requesting a one-time law enforcement escort and third-party transfer.
Pero sí pedimos que sea escoltado para tener transferencia o transporte, comunicación con la tercera parte.
So that he may retrieve his belongings and to continue to see his children.
Para que él pueda retirar cualquier pertenencia familiar y poder ver a sus hijos.
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nada más por parte de la defensa. Gracias.
All right, I'm going to order the $2,500 surety bond. And that will be split in half on each charge, or is that, I'm sorry, not half, it'll be 2,000 on the reckless conduct and then 500 on the criminal trespass. Let's do it that way.
Entonces, lo que voy a ordenar es una fianza de $2,500 bajo garantía. Serían $2,000 por el cargo de conducta negligente y $500 por allanamiento de morada.
So that with that 2,500 signature bond, there will be a stay away from 1118 Creekside Way in Roswell.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, it was a signature bond?
No, surety bond.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Entonces se estipula una fianza total de $2,500 bajo garantía y que se mantenga alejado del domicilio del 1118 en Creekside Way.
All right, and I'm going to order no further contact with the victim. Is it Yesenia Prite or Preet? I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name.
Ujú. Y que no tenga ningún contacto con la víctima Yesenia Prieto.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Tampoco, y queda prohibido que mientras esté libre bajo fianza, el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
All right, and did I say no drugs, alcohol, or weapons?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else, counsel, you take up?
¿Algo más?
Yes, Your Honor, I requested one-time law enforcement escort if you ordered the stay away and third-party transfer.
Okay.
Sí, su señoría, yo pedí que haya una oportunidad para que un oficial lo acompañe para que se pueda haber contacto con los hijos y retirar sus pertenencias.
Your Honor, the state would like to be heard on the third-party transfer.
Pedimos permiso para que nos escuche sobre el tema del transporte de la tercera parte.
The state would be opposed to the third-party transfer for the record.
Para el acta queremos estipular que la Fiscalía se opone a que haya un transporte de tercera parte.
The defendant threw a rock through his son's window, and that could have severely injured his son.
El acusado tiró una piedra a la ventana de donde estaba el hijo y eso podría haber causado lesiones.
And so due to his reckless conduct, the state would ask for no contact with the minor children.
Por ese motivo, la Fiscalía solicita que no se le otorgue contacto con los hijos por la conducta negligente. Sorry.
All right. The one-time law enforcement escort and third-party transfer with the children are the only other two conditions I would add on.
Entonces, que se lo escolte para ir a la dirección y haya el transporte de la tercera parte son condiciones que voy a agregar a las ya estipuladas.
All right. Anything else, counsel, need to take up?
Nothing further from the defense. Thank you, Your Honor.
Nada más.
All right. Who do we have next?
Judge, what was the total amount?
Total bond was 2,500, 2,000 on the reckless conduct and 500 on the criminal trespass.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I just have some quick announcements, Judge.
Okay.
So position 4, waive their appearance. I believe that's it, Judge. And then, yep, that's it. So we're completed here in Portland too, Judge.
Yep, I think that is it. Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You do the same.
Okay.
May the interpreter be dismissed, Your Honor?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's
Madam
all right.
Interpreter, you can be
Thank
dismissed.
you.
Enjoy your weekend.
You too. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We're ready for position 4.
State's ready, Your Honor.
Okay. And who's Ms. Leonard?
That's the victim of this case, Your Honor.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We have 22 CR 006701A. State versus Marvin Garlington, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Offense date is 9/19/2022. Pretrial.
His 12th arrest. He been in jail since what is this? Since September 22nd for felony stuff. He got a 44,500 bond. Some of the charges he don't have a bond set at all. So before September, the arrest was back in July 2021. Fleeing an officer, theft by receiving possession of a Schedule 1. He's on probation, possession of a firearm by convicted felon. That's 18 SC 159446. Let me see. He got rearrested for that charge, so that's holding. Let me see what else. He got a felony theft by conversion, possession of MDMA, felony theft by receiving, eluding, suspended license, possession by a convicted felon, and obstruction. I got a 2012 possession of marijuana with intent, 2013 probation. I got a robbery conviction from 2014. It's 14 SC 131147. Possession of cocaine conviction, 2010. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense occurred on September 19th. Officers were dispatched to a fight call. Upon arrival, they met with the victim of this case, Ms. Carla Leonard, CARLA, last name LEONARD. She stated that she was just assaulted by her boyfriend. They have been living together, which makes this a family violence, Your Honor. She states that the defendant's always picking fights with her and bickering with her. And she states that he hit her with a fist in her eye. That was earlier in the day. Then later in the day, he took her phone and wouldn't let her call anyone or 911, and then he punched her in the mouth, Your Honor. Law enforcement saw the injuries to her lip from the punch later in the day, injury and a bruising to her eye from earlier in the day. We've been in contact with this victim, and she states they're no longer in a relationship, but still live together until he's able to get on his feet. She also stated that they share no children. She states that the defendant has since apologized to her, but it's the state's position that that's not sufficient. The victim was saying that she does not fear him and is okay with contact. The state is adamantly opposed to that. Your Honor, as pretrial has stated, he is on felony probation until next year. He has violated that probation 3 times. He has 2 open felony cases involving firearms, which further concerns the state. He's being violent towards her, and even though he's a felon that's not to have a firearm, he's still continuing to have a firearm. We're concerned that he may use that firearm against the victim in this case. Your Honor, the state is requesting a $10,000 cash bond in this matter. He's shown that he does not care about probation conditions, bond conditions, the laws in the state of Georgia. He is a threat to Ms. Leonard. He's a threat to the citizens of Fulton County, and a $10,000 cash bond is more than reasonable under the circumstances. We're asking for no further contact with Ms. Leonard, a stay away from 3200 Stone Road Southwest, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay. All right, Ms. Camp.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Marvin Garlington is 29 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is the proud father of 6 children, ages 10, 9. 2 of his children are 4, 1 and 3 years old. Your Honor, he is paying child support for 2 of his children. He completed 9th grade. He is working on his GED. He was employed at with a temporary service for about 1 month prior to becoming incarcerated. He strongly denies the allegations. He states that he does provide assistance to Ms. Leonard in the care of her children. He informs me that she has 4 children. I did have the occasion to reach out to Ms. Leonard. She informed me that she wants to have contact with him, as does my client. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Garlington's behalf. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I certainly would ask for a bond that is reasonable, a bond of no more than $2,000 surety. He will not be able to, certainly will not be able to bond out, and as as we heard from pretrial, he is incarcerated on no bond for some offenses. And of course, for bond that has been set, he hasn't even been able to make that. There is no allegation whatsoever that Mr. Garlington threatened my client with a firearm, Your Honor. And as I heard, it appears that most of his offenses are drug offenses, Your Honor. Therefore, I am requesting again that signature bond or bond surety of no more than $2,000. We are opposed to the stay away and the no contact orders. However, if Your Honor orders such, then we would ask for third party. Well, actually, they do not share any children together. A one-time law enforcement escort so that he can retrieve any belongings from the incident location. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I will do a,
Oh, Your Honor, Ms. Leonard is on.
oh, I'm sorry, I did get our witness. Yes, thank you.
you.
Ms. Leonard, oh, there you are. Okay. Would you like to address the court today?
Yes, I will address the court today.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give rather, is nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What would you like to tell me about this case?
Well, okay. Okay, so I mean, I'm the leaseholder and his stuff is here as well. So my thing is, I'm asking is, I still want to contact him, be his friend or whatever, but in a way that possibly that he can't still stay here no more, or what? Or do I have his family come get his stuff or what?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a $7,500 surety bond. I'm going to order that he stay away from the incident location. And what was that address again, Ms. King?
It is 3200 Stone Road Southwest.
Okay.
Let me.
He cannot come back there, Ms. Garlington. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you Ms. Garlington, Ms. Anderson, right?
Leonard, Your Honor.
Leonard, Carla Leonard, I'm sorry. I don't know where I got that from. So Ms. Leonard, he is to stay away from your location, okay?
Okay.
And if he comes back there, just call the police on him and let them know that he was on a bond with the stay away condition. He is to have no further contact with you, no further contact with the victim, Carla Leonard. And sometimes I say when they get out of jail, they can have, if and when, he can have a one-time police escort to come and get his items, only with the police escort. Is that something you think would work, or?
I mean, I'm not no threat. He don't fear me. So, I mean, I can have I talk to his sister and she will come get it if it's boiled down to it. You know what I'm saying? I do talk to his family, but I'm not he don't fear me. He don't scare me. So.
Okay. Well, you can do that and have his family to come pick it up. Therefore, I won't put it in the order. Then he has no reason to come there when he gets out. Okay. Let's do it that way. And then no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Okay.
All right. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Is that it, Ms. Champion?
Yes, it is. We done.
Pre-trial, is that it?
Yes.
Have a good weekend.
You gonna go? I was gonna wait for get her to go.
You're gonna wait today with us? Oh, good.
I got 3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes, Ms. Champion. You're on a time clock.
Position number 1 is a $5,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 2 is a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 3 is a total of a $2,500 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 4 is a $7,500 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 5 is a $5,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 6 is a $5,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 7 is a $10,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 8 is a $3,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 9 is a total of a $8,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 10 is a $4,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 11 is a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 12 is a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 1020. Position number 13 is a $2,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Position number 14 is a $5,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. And position number 15 is a $2,000 pretrial bond reset further notice. Any questions?
I
Thank you,
think
Champ.
you met the clock. I haven't heard you talk that fast, Ms. Champion.
You ready to go too?
Say that again, pre-trial.
She ready to go too.
Obviously, I know it's been a long week.
Judge, it's Friday.
I know. Thank goodness, right?
It's payday Friday.
Good
Yeah,
to,
that too.
oh, payday Friday for you Fulton County people.
It's payday for you too. Don't do that.
No, I'm not an employee. I don't get paid today. Nope.
Okay.
So I'll come borrow money from you.